Ciao Campers. About 6 months ago, I bought this truck, which was an old like mechanic's truck basically, and it took me 3 months to convert it to this Overland truck for a big trip, which is from the UK to Australia, but we're in Slovakia at the moment in the high Tetras in the middle of winter. So I thought you'd give you a bit of a show and walk around of the whole truck, so let's go. Cool, so at the front of the truck, I've put this strap on. I didn't originally put that on because it's a bit like you're posing having the strap on there, but we actually keep towing people who are getting stuck in the snow, so that's good. I designed and then got all this, like the metal bar and the roof rack all fabricated, and then I fitted it myself, as we did with these 4 big laser lights, which are unreal. We've got a couple of boxes up there, which are for more storage, and also now we've got we've got 12 blocks up there for like leveling us out and for rescuing because we've already got it stuck. And also we've got the sand racks for being able to get ourselves out when we're stuck in either mud or sand or snow or anything. So that's that. Got these 6 new tyres from Continental. They got donated. Thank you very much, Continental. They're the HCXs. The more importantly why people are going away from Michelin at the moment is because these have a higher speed rating than the Michelins do. And also I've got Conti pressure check inside, which means I can monitor the pressure inside, which is fantastic. So it means that if I get a puncture or something happens, I can monitor it either inflating or deflating, however it is. And then also when I'm deflating it off-road, I can see what my pressure's all doing. It's really interesting to see how the temperatures go up and down when we're driving as well. We're here, it's cold at the moment, and the pressures are dropping by about 10 degrees from when we're traveling somewhere like down the valley on motorways, for example. So 10 psi, would you believe? That's pretty crazy. Moving around slightly further, you can probably see from this side, we've also got a ladder coming up the back over here, but we've also got the back of these like schoolboy lockers as well. We use them for, again, generally bits of like general storage. We couldn't do a crawl through on this one because this truck had a PTO, so a power takeoff, which stopped the box coming any further forward. We've taken that off and blanked it off, but we couldn't put the box any further forward, so we've put this big storage locker behind it. We also had to put a little kicker on the top of the exhaust, just because it wasn't high enough by the time we put all the stuff on it, and it was making the box a bit dirty. Some of the outside windows then, so the only thing that this truck came with, or the box came with, was basically the plastic box, and it had a door in. Everything else I've cut in there, so all like the side markers, the outside lighting, the windows, but generally speaking, everything from the outside of the truck comes from the caravan industry, generally speaking. So these are caravan or horse box windows. I tried to get them flush so they looked a little bit better, and they do look really well. They're also blackout, so you can't really see back inside, so I fitted all those. Because they're only meant for a reveal of about 20 or 30 mil, I had to sort of customize and make a plastic reveal inside. So essentially the window depth had to be made bigger. I messed it up on my last camper van, so you'll see inside the detail where plastic trimmed it and made it a little bit more sexy, really. Another storage boxes, so any space that we had, so this is the battery box at the front, this is where the stairwell is for the stairs. I got this like box made up. They brought it in like a box. They gave me the hinges, gave me the locks at the front. I painted it all, put it all together, and then mounted it up to the subframe of the truck, which works really well. Again, this is a repurposed sort of caravan step, so you don't need to spend a fortune when you're doing like overland truck builds. You can just repurpose stuff from the RV world, the caravan world, or even some of the marine stuff as well. Another storage locker here, which worked really well, and again another repurposed locker. This is from a caravan, I believe, and then got caravan locks fitted, and again more outside lighting. We've got a Fiamma F45, so this is traditionally off a camper van. You see it on like a transport or something like that. That comes out. We don't use that too much, but we have used that in the snow more than anything, really. Barely use it when it's raining, because rarely does rain fall vertically. It's generally blowing a hoolie at the same time, so you're just getting wet no matter what. My favourite part of the truck is this section here. So because the chassis stuck out at the back, because again this box was sort of repurposed from another truck onto here, the chassis stuck out a little bit, and I wanted to make a bit of a feature of it, so I decided to design these sort of overhanging lockers, one on each side to match, and then we put a big box on the back. The other side is like a tool locker, and on this side is a barbecue. So this is what it looks like. Put a couple of like wire rope straps on. This is just, again, this is not complicated to do. This is just a standard set of cupboard door runners, and then like a bit of a shelf, like an aluminium shelf. That is like a door handle, and then just a standard Weber barbecue. So we can fold it out and then have barbies here all the time. That is hooked up to an LPG system, and originally I was going to go for an LPG underslung tank, but I did run out of money, so I've just got a couple of big gas bottles that are inside in the back over there. Above it, we've got some hookup points, so we've got some water, we've got power in and then power out. This is really good because sometimes we've got outside lighting, and then in summer we can have outside showers as well, and that's hot and cold showers coming out of here. This is at the back, so there's a big storage locker if you swing around here, Marie. So big storage locker that goes all the way over the back. So that's one storage locker there, that's one over the far side, and then this is just like an infill panel. In doing so, we had to rewire the lighting, bring everything backwards slightly. Another couple of good things that I did is put this is an extra reversing light. So when you put it into reverse, clearly you get a white light backwards, but it's never bright enough, especially where we are in places like this. So that's an extra reversing light there. I got designed and then fabricated this little bike rack on the back here, which is in front of the 2 spare wheel mounts. We've not got a winch for that at the moment, but we might have to look at it in the future. But if we ever need to get those tyres down, because they weigh about 350 kg each, so between them, sorry, 150 kg each, 300 kg together roughly. So this big storage locker is just general storage. We've got skis and mainly equipment in here because, well, this trip is not just about driving around, it's about skiing and surfing and paddleboarding. So generally all equipment's here. A couple of glass bottles in here, one's used, one's a spare, and then we've got the boiler over here. The boiler is just a standard eBay LPG zip boiler, cost me about 60 quid. It was a temporary early on when I was doing like some testing with it, but because it was so good that I decided to can the like the diesel one I was going to go for and just use that for the time being. So that's the plan of attack. Let's pause there and let's go and check inside. Cool. So the only determining factor with setting out the inside of the truck, which is always the first and hardest part, is designing how the layout is. The only thing we had to do was with this doorway here. Ideally, this would have been up to flush here, and then we'd have the steps coming out, but it's worked quite well. We also managed to fit a bit of space in here because we managed to put the bathroom at the front, and then we fit the fridge here. So come up, I'll show you inside. I wanted to make sure there was a proper kitchenette in here. So this is a proper worktop from Worktop Express. This is a Quooker instant hot ball tap, and then the boiler for that is underneath here, along with everything else. This is genuinely storage. Probably shouldn't show you that. It doesn't matter. We've got another like a proper caravan LPG oven in here, which is pretty good. Nice and big, and again we use that to store some other bits and pieces like bread and some of the stuff in there. And then we've got a couple of big drawers in here, which again are brimming. Normally you'd go for like a 3 or 4 burner, but traditionally I've only been able to fit 2 pans on, even if you've got a 4 burner. So I went with 2 burners, which works quite well. We haven't put any sort of heat protection around the side, and it's all been okay. The only thing is this has started to distort, so we genuinely put like a breadboard at the back to stop that melting on here. But these blinds look really well, so they're black out there, and then we've got mosquito blinds on the other side of them, and then I put plastic trim around the far side of them just to make sure that the detail when you're looking inside is really neat, because normally this outside and that side are meant to connect, but there's a 60mm gap in there where my insulation is. These overhead lockers I got built by a joiner, and then I fitted them, and we also fitted the LED strips underneath there, so he routed them out, and then I put them all together and get them fitted. They're really good. They got genuinely loads and loads and loads of bits and pieces in there. They're absolutely heaving. Right, let's have a look at the bathroom. So to make use of the bathroom, it was a bit tricky, to be honest. I looked at sliding doors and a few other options, but the best thing I sort of concluded on was this idea of putting a big mirror here so you get a greater sense of space. But this is actually a swing door with like cubicle hinges, top and bottom, so it works really well. So it means that somebody can come in here, shut the door, and have a proper like bathroom experience sort of thing. So inside we've got this pretty crazy paneling from rock salt panels, that just to jazz it up a little bit so it's not mundane. And then we've got a proper waterless toilet. So essentially that's a separator, so you have your urine to go to the front and then your solids to go into the back in a bag. I much prefer that to like a chemical toilet because it's less messy and a bit more easy to handle. So that is ideal. Nice and big in here. We've got more lighting in the top here, and then we've also got a pretty cool shower, which I'll show you. Cool. So a couple of things I wanted to make sure were right in the truck were a proper bed and a proper shower. This is a 700 by 700 normal domestic shower. I've put this plastic herringbone effect trim tile all the way around, which looks really well. Proper ceramic bottom or shower tray is probably the word you use. We've got a proper rain head shower top, so you get properly wet and it's a proper warm shower. We've got an extract fan there. And then the reason I put this panel in here is so you can take it off to deal with any pipe work, because what I've learned previously on some of the other camper vans, if you bury everything, chances are there's going to be a problem at some point and you need to get in to deal with it. So having everything exposed, like I've done the wiring, which I'll show you in a second, is ideal. You want to get at it to repair it if there's a leak or there's a problem. Another thing I've done it there is put a macerator pump in the bottom. So because you can't have a gravity fed fall into like a waste pipe, and I wanted to keep everything internally, that drops into a macerator which is under the kitchen, and then essentially sucks the shower wastewater into a 250 litre waste tank in there. That macerator pump is from marine industries, because if I look for it for an Overland truck, it was very specialised. It was going to cost me a few grand, whereas that cost me like 60 quid or something like that. So let's keep going. Cool, so in the seating area, I wanted to make sure this was dead comfy, because you spend a lot of time in here, especially in winter. It's going dark about 3:30, 4 o'clock at the moment, so we're spending 4, 5, 6 hours like sat in here. So I did spend a lot of money on proper domestic kitchen cushions, so I went to an actual upholsterer and said to them, these are the size, what would you recommend if you were to do like a proper sofa like for a home? Please let me know how expensive it is, and just get on with it, because it's so important. A lot of people save a lot of money by putting like really thin cushions and little bench seats and they're terribly uncomfortable. I've done that before and it really messed it up. So these are dead comfortable. The other thing is this seat, or this table here, goes down to create a bed. So this is 900 wide, so it's probably just fit for one person, maybe two at a squeeze. The other thing that these hide as well is a 250 litre water tank or wastewater tank, which is in there. And then we've got all the electrical kit, which is over in this section here. Over in this section, we've also got, we've got all the Victron electrical kit in here, and I went out to Nomadic Energy to get that all designed and supplied. The reason being is, well, it's got to work, hasn't it? You can't have a big posh truck like this and the fridge not work or run out of electricity or stuff like that. So there's a load of solar chargers in there, inverters. There's two massive 24 volt batteries in there. They weigh about 45 kg each, so bit of kit in this side of things. Tried to like jazz it up a little bit with some wicker basket type looking things, which is good for like general tatty storage. And then we've got the sockets over here for charging stuff, so generally we're sort of throwing that in the storage here, so that worked really well. What also it's done is create a feature, these two left and right risers, so actually all my cables run up and down here, so it's not just a feature, it's actually practical. Again, to make it a little bit more bougie in here, as opposed to like a proper caravan with plastic switches, is a proper Knightsbridge metal black socket and switches. Just looks a little bit more impressive. So these are all inside lighting, of which it's all LED. This is the fan for the toilet in the toilet there. These are all the outside switches for the floodlights. So we've got floodlights all the way around the truck. And then this is the electric chute bolts. So this door, because it used to sell tools from in here, comes with electric chute bolts, which means you can press the buttons and there's metal rods that go out, so it stops people being able to break in. So in the evening when we go and they all shot and engage, there's nobody getting through this door. You know, it's just, unless coming through with a chainsaw and an axe, they're not getting through. So one of the best features of the truck, which I love, again, similar to the barbecue, and I've learned the hard way, is when you're in a camper van, there's not a lot of space for a dog to sit around and genuinely cooking there, knocking around, and it's difficult. So I built a little cave for Red, who absolutely loves it in there. I was a little bit dubious because the hole at the front I can only make quite small, but in the back is quite cavernous. But he does manage to fit through and then absolutely loves it. Because like for now, for example, when we're doing the recording, he's like, oh, I don't want to sit outside, I don't want to get in the way. I'll just go on my bed and fall asleep in there. This little plimp section is to hide the diesel heater, because this is where it extracts from here. So we keep ourselves nice and warm with a Eberspacher diesel heater. And then what I've done is I've put like secret little cubby holes in here. So we've got little like general hats in there, and we've got pots and pans, and we've got some gloves in the back of there, so it works really well. And then just a bit of sexy LED feature. So what I find with the LEDs is, if they're not really hard to install, you've just got to think about it, but they create a massive feature. Like we've got it around here, got it under the plinth, and then we've got it all the way around the overhead lockers. So a bit of thought on stuff like that really goes a long way. Cool. So with the fridge, you've got to do it right. Yeah, you can't take any shortcuts on this. This is a 150 litre Vitrifrigo fridge. I think it cost me north of £1,000, but again, there was areas where I wanted to save money, like on some of the external doors and windows, for example. But then, you know, fridge, it's got to work, hasn't it? And it's got to work in any environment. So this is a, like I say, 150 litre Vitrifrigo slim version, just because I didn't have a lot of space left to right. Comes with a big freezer section in there, and also this like vegetable slider here, which is so good. We've got a little bit more storage underneath, and then we've also got like a removable trapdoor up here, which is where the like the compressor is up there. So on the ceiling then, we've got two big sky hatches. The reason you can't see them is because for winter I cut these insulation boards and I've just fitted them because it's about -10 where we are here at the moment. So that's all good, but they're fantastic. They're fully openable. People like to put solar panels across the whole roof, but honestly these are so good for like ventilation to get a lot of light in. So I'd highly recommend putting that in, as long as solar is going to work on whatever you're using it for. We've got these 3x1 batten timbers. So these are just plain all round 3x1 timbers that I rubbed down and then painted them white. And what I did is before that I put a black plywood ceiling in, paint it black, and then put one board up, bit of space, one board up, bit of space, and then I've randomly fitted the LEDs within it to create this sort of mismatched LED pattern, which worked really well. And again, not very hard to do. You just got to think about it in a bit more detail. Another thing in the ceiling is air conditioning. So this is a Dometic RTX 2000, I think it is. Creates a load of cold air when we need it. Apparently it does do heating. We try and put it on at 27 degrees, but it's like lukewarm, not necessarily warm. So we are only using that for aircon and haven't used that obviously for a good couple of months yet. Talking through the bed then, so like I say, you got to make sure you can sleep right when you're camping or traveling. If you don't have a good night's sleep, it's not sustainable. You then want to jack it in, go to a hotel, go back home, whatever it is. So to have a good night's sleep is, I think, imperative to the whole traveling aspect. This is a king size bed with an Emma mattress and then a topper on top. It's so warm in the truck in the evenings. We've only got like a normal duvet, and then we've just got this blanket that we've only recently thrown on since it's -10. But really, we're waking up and it's a good probably 8 degrees inside the truck. It's not cold certainly, and that's without any heating running through the night. Underneath the bed then we've got sort of a horseshoe shaped storage, which is low level and accessible through the outside. And then the dog's bed is obviously in the center here, and that is on top of half a ton's worth of water. So the first thing I did really before I built too much on the truck was set where I wanted the water tanks, and then started building and closing everything in. The final thing really to talk about is the way I've wired it. So historically, when I've built a camper van, I've buried all the wiring like you traditionally do. So in a house, or really a camper van, you'd probably do that. But a couple of times I had either damages from the outside where I need to replace stuff, or I had mice get in. As soon as they chewed through a cable, I couldn't rewire anything. So what I've done in the truck here is I've made sure that as soon as I take this off and I get into my electrical system here, I can get up into the risers here, and then the wiring actually runs in the back of all these overhead lockers. So it means at any point, if I need to run another external cable, or I need to run another socket, or I need to check something or do it, I can take the clothes out and I can get access to all the electrical cables all the way around. So I'd highly recommend that, as I've done with all the water pipes. So as soon as I take the drawers out of there, I can get out all the water piping. It goes all the way through, and I get out all the water piping at the back as well. So for me, the electrical and the plumbing stuff, yes, get it hidden, but also make sure it's accessible. That's absolutely fundamental. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that walk around. Let me know if you've got any questions, comments, or whatever it is. But I hope you enjoy following us along on our drive from the UK to Australia. Like I say, we're in Slovakia at the moment, and I can't wait to get continuing in this, because let me tell you, it's pretty cool traveling in this truck. Anyway, cheers guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ciao.